Okay, hi.
Hi.
Okay, so if you are joining us today, we are going to be talking with Michelle, and I'm so excited because we're going over all things lender connected with the purchasing of a home. And if you don't know what the lender is, we're going to talk about that today. But if you are joining us, you are here because you are interested in home ownership. Go ahead and introduce yourself for the people.
Hi, people. My name is Michelle Baez. I'm a mortgage loan originator here in Central Florida. I have been doing this for about 6 years. I am bilingual, so I work with Spanish speaking community as well as English. And yeah, I'm going to touch on like how I help these first time
Yes,
buyers. Okay.
absolutely.
So when you guys hear about the loan officer, you're thinking money, right? This is finance. But really, I think the part of the journey that I'm going to touch on is the entire journey. I am the person that's going to be in your corner from start to finish. I'm not just here to help you figure out how much house you can afford. I'm here to help you close on that house and make sure you get to the finish line. So I'm going to be with you the entire way. I'm going to be the person you probably text and call just as much, if not more, than your realtor. So that's kind of what I'm here to do is guide you through the process, educate you on your options, and make sure you get the house you want.
I love that. So this is the money lady, okay? Whenever I say money lady, this is what I'm talking about because this is going to make sure all of your money is taken care of. And something that I wanted to touch on is if you are listening to us, I need you to know that we have real conversations. This is not fluff. This is not trying to convince you to do anything. This platform is basically created so those things that maybe you were scared to talk about or you think that a lender or a realtor don't want to know, we absolutely do. And this is a great place to kind of just dish out what we know, what we've heard, what's out there. So that way, you know, you're not alone in this. So Michelle went ahead and introduced herself so beautifully. So you guys know who she is. And she is with Samaritan Mortgage Group. And they are phenomenal, guys. You could go ahead and Google them. But today we're going to focus on, as a whole, what lenders do for you as a home buyer. So, in one word, oh, of course, I do this all the time. I just love helping people just jump into things. I am Dawn Reeves McKinney. I am with eXp Realty and I'm representing Pearl-Fect Properties. And what we're doing is making sure that if you are interested in relocating to the Central Florida area, I would love to get connected. But this is not about that. This is about just homeownership as a whole. All right, now I can get into the next part of the interview. So, what is one word that you would describe for the first time home buying journey for first time home buyers?
I would say surprising. I think no matter what you know, where you've been, what you've done, there's going to be something that comes up that you were not anticipating. And it's an opportunity to learn, it's an opportunity to grow. And honestly, it's an opportunity for some humility, right? We could all use some more of that. So I think that word is surprising. And I think my job is to help you prepare for those things, prepare for the unknown, and feel empowered and confident to deal with those unknowns and just make sure that I have in my arsenal all the tools we're going to need to overcome those obstacles.
I love that. So, I think the big one for me is the idea like there's always some type of hurdle.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand, like, oh, like if I had a smooth experience, that means nothing went wrong. Um, Ma'am or sir, something may have gone wrong, but because you had a team that was on your side and kept you informed, it went smoothly. So thank you for bringing that out.
Absolutely.
So, what is something that you think first time homebuyers should know before they contact you, before they give you a call, before they schedule a time on your calendar? What should they do?
Yeah. So when we're looking at your financial qualifications, there's basically three parts to the process it's credit, income, and assets. So I think if nothing else, you want to familiarize yourself with where is my credit at? Do you know where your credit is at? Do you have, credit karma or any kind of credit monitoring? That's helpful information. You don't have to be an expert. I just want you to have an idea of where you're at. Your income. So even thinking about like maybe you've been in a job for 10 years and you haven't had to have a resume, right? And then you're going back trying to scramble, like, where have I worked? What have I done? These are things that I'm going to want to know about too, right? So, know your work history, know where you've been, kind of have an idea of what the dates are for employment. These are some of the things that I need. And then assets, just where's the money? Do you have retirement accounts, savings accounts? Do you have family members that are willing to help? Are you interested in down payment assistance? Even if you are, do you have some funds for closing? Like, just have an idea of where you're at even if it's zero, even if it's on the floor and you don't know where you're going, I need to know that, right? I want to be able to help you get to where you're going. And so having an idea of where your credit, income, and assets are at is really important.
Okay, so if I am completely clueless, I haven't opened up a bank account or my money is in, I don't know, a shoebox. I guess people still do that. But what would you recommend for someone like that if they're a first time home buyer or considering being a first time home buyer?
I think the idea is to call someone who knows what they're doing. Talk to a lender. Don't feel bad about the money in the shoebox. Like sometimes our life experiences lead us to make those decisions because we think it's what's best, and that's okay. But there should be a point in the process that you decide maybe someone knows something I don't. And it's time for me to find out what that is so that I can figure out what to do with that money in the shoebox, right?
Yes, thank you. So we're going to dive into these questions. And these are some of the most common questions that I've gotten from first time home buyers, specifically those who are interested in purchasing a home within the last pandemic was what year is this? 2026? Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, that's crazy. Within the last 6 years that I've heard people just through TikTok, through Instagram, kind of like touch on.
Yes.
But with things like social media, it's always important to verify the information.
Mhm.
So we're going to go through those top 8 things. Okay.
Okay.
So what should first time buyers be looking for or asking about before they commit to this journey?
There are so many options. I think one of the things that you guys need to be really considering and focusing on is the difference between like your personal budget and like what you might actually be able to afford. I think that there's going to be surprises, like we talked about, as far as what the costs are for a monthly payment on a house. And you may think you know, but you have no idea. And so it's really taking into consideration what that monthly budget for you is, what you want it to be, and being willing to make adjustments on where you're looking or what price point you're at, or maybe even a property type, right? As a first time buyer, sometimes you might not get the dream house. You might get the starter home, and that's okay. Sometimes you need the starter home to get the dream house. So another thing that I've got experience in is like the new construction versus resale. So there's pros and cons to both. And I think one of the things, again, is really knowing what's the most important thing for you. Do you need to be in a certain school zone? Do you need to be close to your job? Do you need to be close to your family? Are these things that are really important to you? Or maybe if you can make compromises on that, you're more willing to go outside of the city and get a new build and have kind of like the property or the amenities that are a little bit more flashy and new. So those are some of the things to think about is really the must-haves, the deal breakers, and what is my budget? What are my realistic goals for this?
Thank you for calling that out because one of the things that I cannot stress enough, especially Central Florida, we have tons of new construction, right?
Yeah.
And we have tons of land, especially like West Orlando. And I get people saying, "Oh my God, my commute is like an hour." Yeah, that was your trade-off, unfortunately.
Yep.
So if that is important to you about like how far you need to travel to get to the things that you do every day, please talk to your realtor and speak with your lender about what makes the most sense. Because if you can get to work or if you can get to that Pilates class or if you can get to that theme park in half the time, but you didn't say that that was important to you, then your search is kind of like not realistic for what's going to make you happy.
Mhm.
You're paying that bill every month. And I'm really big on lifestyle. Those of you who know my story, I relocated to Orlando and it was trash. I use the word basura, like
Yes.
trash.
She's
Okay.
bilingual, y'all.
Yes. Well, a little bit, a little bit. That's that Miami in me. But I say that because I was listening to, oh, it's so inexpensive here. It's so inexpensive here. And I was miserable. I didn't even last 3 months. And I got really serious and talked to my husband and said, what is important to me? And it was community. It was finding people who were our age, who, I don't have kids. So I wasn't interested in school zones like that, but I was a teacher. So I was really interested in seeing like in terms of the turnover of the school. Was this somewhere where I can grow? Obviously, I'm not a teacher anymore. I do this full time and I love it. But those were the things that were important to me at that time. So I think it's very important if you are considering purchasing a home, get very intentional about what's important to you for now and your future self. So let's jump into what do buyers not realize about the ongoing costs of owning a home after they close?
I think they just think there are none. Sometimes you get so excited about buying the house that you want to use all the money that you have available to buy the house, right? And I get that. Like I also have had experience personally with like, this is my dream house. Like, I need it. But it's like, you want to be realistic. This is a long-term commitment. It's going to be, even if you decide this is a starter home for you, you're going to be in this house for a few years, and you're going to want to make sure that you have money available for water heater replacement. Maybe the AC needs some maintenance. Um, Even the fridge. I've had a fridge go out on a buyer after they move in, right? I mean, there's just little things, and there's like home warranties and different options, right? There's a lot of things people can do to prepare for these costs, and how they're going to manage them, but just know that they exist. Even landscaping is another one, right? Like if you're moving into a neighborhood that has a lot of trees, sometimes you don't take into consideration that one of the benefits of having all of those mature trees is that you're going to have to maintain them. You're going to have to prepare for hurricane season. You're going to have to make sure your insurance is willing to cover you, right? So there's a lot of hidden costs, or ongoing costs rather. And it's really making sure that you're not just dreaming about moving day, you're dreaming about the life you're going to have in this house and what that's going to entail.
Thank you for calling that out as well. Another thing that pops up a lot is like HOA conversations.
Mhm.
So we have some townhome communities that the landscaping is included in their HOA. And you'll get some situations where people are saying, hey, that HOA is kind of high, but what amenities come with that HOA? Does it take something off your plate
Exactly.
that instead of you hiring a landscaper, it's already going to be done? You know that it's going to be up to whatever code that they have for that HOA. So that may be something that's important. Or you have people like, I have this couple, they're so funny. They specifically want to just work in the yard.
Yeah.
Like they've been in an apartment for 10 years and they just want to be able to say, I can work in the yard. That's not something that may be interesting to somebody else. So just being upfront about what it is that you want so you can set that expectation of, like you said, what does that look like for maintenance? And we live in Orlando, so pools are a big thing, right?
Absolutely.
But you got to get that maintained.
Mhm.
So thank you for mentioning that. And now we get to like the scary part, right? It's not scary, y'all. I'll just say that. The finances. What's the biggest financial misconception you see from first-time homebuyers walking through your door or virtually? Because we meet in the virtual space. What are the things that affects their timeline?
I think a lot of times buyers have heard about what they need to buy, what's required, what kind of credit, what kind of down payment. So for me, it's just making those assumptions that you need a perfect credit score, that you need 20% down. That's not true. There's a lot of different loan products that allow as little as 3% down sometimes. Again, there's down payment assistance programs. I will say typically you want to have one or the other. If you don't have great credit, you might want to consider having some savings. If you don't have savings, maybe make sure your credit is in good standing. Typically, it's going to be a holistic approach. We want to see all of your finances, all of the details to help you decide. But I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions is that they need to be in like the perfect place, the perfect buyer, the perfect time. And that's just not true.
Thank you. So I get this a lot. People ask me, what credit score do I need?
Exactly.
Uh, I don't have the answer for you because, like she said, it depends. So it's very important to get in contact with someone like Michelle who's able to walk you through what that looks like, because your realtor, unless they also dual as a financial advisor and what was the other one? LO or
Hmm.
loan officer, LO, that's what that means. They shouldn't be telling you numbers either, guys, because unfortunately, someone throws out a number, you talk to the professional, the real estate professional, and they tell you, yeah, no, you need 100 points more. You're going to be discouraged, and discouraged because it's incorrect information. Okay. So very important to speak with the professionals that are in their lane. And we're just going to leave it like that. All right, let's jump into our next one. So, what shortcut from Google, TikTok, or even family members turned out to be completely wrong or misleading that can cost buyers in the long run?
So not to be dramatic, but all of it. Like it's literally all noise. And I understand that these videos are out there and you as a buyer feel empowered, right? You're like, "Oh, I can just go online and see what people are talking about." But 90% of the time, these are marketing tactics. We just want you to come and ask the real questions so that we can help you,
Wait,
right?
ChatGPT is not a loan officer?
Absolutely not.
Claude? Claude's not a loan officer?
No. Who
Okay.
is Claude? Get rid of him. So you definitely want to be wary of what people are saying. That is not to say that some of the things that you hear are not real and are not true. Absolutely. But again, we're circling back to each situation is different. Everybody is going to have a unique set of circumstances. Even if you think that your situation is exactly like your cousin's because y'all work at the same place or whatever the case is, and you want to live in the same neighborhood, it doesn't matter. Every situation is unique. Every situation is different. You don't want to be out here trying to qualify yourself. You're going to do yourself a disservice. You want to talk to a trusted expert.
Thank you. Stop disqualifying yourself, guys. And then let's jump into timeline because the previous interviews I had with first time homebuyers were saying, hey, like this went really fast for me. So can you go over like what surprises first time homebuyers may have about how fast things move or how competitive a market could really be?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think a lot of feedback is like, this is quick. Once you have the home in a contract, I'm like, okay, let's lock your interest rate. And they're like, wait, what now? And the market is live, right? Interest rates change on a daily basis. So people get scared. Sometimes they're attached to a certain number, an interest rate. And it's like, this is again where you need to trust the experts. I know what your budget is. I know what you can afford. We've come to this conclusion. Please let me help you get there. Don't get overly attached to anything. But it moves fast because we're doing our job. There's so much more that we do behind the scenes. There's part of our job that's in front of the buyer and telling them what's going on and answering their questions and holding their hand through the process. And then there's all the work we do behind the scenes and our teams are doing, right? There's so many people involved in making this transaction successful. So it is gonna move fast because everyone's on it. We're doing our job. We're working really hard. We you have to believe us when we tell you we want this for you. We are invested. So, trust the process and pick people that you feel comfortable working with because it is gonna move fast, and that's not something you have any control over.
That part. So you get to choose who you work with. And
Yes.
I think that's the part that's especially in this day and age with like all the social media and all of the convincing you to do things, like at the end of the day, you get to choose who represents you through one of the biggest transactions of your life, right? And I'm going to speak to me personally. I have met so many people who say things like, "Well, my cousin's a realtor," or
Mhm.
"My best friend just got their license." No shade. Okay. Just do you want to work with someone who's experimenting with your life-changing event? Not to say they don't need practice. I'm just saying, like, if you have the ability to choose who you work with, why would you not work with someone who is doing what's in your best interest?
Exactly.
And I think interviewing is so important, right? So if you are a first-time home buyer and you're considering working with a lender, and your realtor recommends someone who is trusted, if you trust your realtor, hopefully your realtor is connecting you with a strong lender.
Absolutely.
Shout out to us. But but to be serious about this for a second, it's like it's so important to have a team who's actually in your corner because I've heard people say that they didn't know that they qualified for things like hometown heroes.
Yes.
They didn't know that they didn't or shouldn't have taken advantage of something like a down payment program because maybe that wasn't the best option for them in the long run with interest rates. So just having these conversations with people who really want the best for you based off of your unique situation, I think it's so important for us to really like own in on like have a team.
Yeah, and just to expand on that, it is not my job to know what's best for you. That's your job. As an individual, as a human being, as a person in the world, you know what's best for you. My job is to give you the options. My job is to take the data that you share with me and show you this is what's possible. You're going to decide what's best for you. I don't need to worry about that.
I love that.
Yeah.
We are not here to sell you anything. We are here to give you what you want. And once you're clear about what you want, the process is so much smoother.
Yes.
All right, so let's jump into hidden costs because you know we hear this all the time. We get the people who complain about they bought a house and they didn't know that they had to change the air filters. I mean, had to change air filters in apartments too, but that's okay. That's okay. So, what costs do first-time buyers consistently underestimate and how can they prepare for that?
I think from the lending side, it's I'm thinking about the transaction itself. And so a lot of people think, again, you're hearing buzzwords, down payment, right? There is down payment, there is closing costs, there is an appraisal fee, there is an earnest money deposit. There are a lot of buzzwords and things that you have to think about when you're going to the transaction. So one of the things is just understanding when I'm or a lender is looking at your total financial ability, we're considering how much money do you have available? How much money do you have access to? Because you're going to have to pay those upfront costs before closing on the house, like the appraisal, like the earnest money deposit. And then you're going to pay your closing costs, your down payment at the end of the transaction. So that's one of the things to kind of keep in mind. I also think again about like budget. Something that people can underestimate is like their ability to really maintain a monthly payment. Or sometimes they think, again, they're trying to qualify themselves. Please don't. And they think, I need to put 20% down to have the monthly payment that I want. That's not necessarily true. In fact, in a lot of cases, it's actually better to see the interest rate reduce by maybe even just an eighth of a point. You're going to have a bigger impact on that monthly payment. So, again, these are like the nitty gritty details of the industry that you want to work with someone that you trust. But it's more so just knowing that, like, you don't know everything again, and there are going to be costs that you underestimate or you think you know about. Let us help you identify what those costs are and prepare you for what they are. And we're going to specify what they are. And again, hold your hand through the process so you're prepared for them.
Thank you. And something that I think is important to pay attention to as well is the qualifying. Just, I cannot stress that enough. I have a situation right now where a young lady wanted to be a first time home buyer and put 20% down and thought that that was what she had to do. Spoke with a professional and realized didn't have to do that.
Yes.
Was able to use the money to actually decorate the space.
Exactly.
So it's like, at the end of the day, what's going to keep the most money in your pocket so you
Yes.
can live the life? You should not be buying a house and then you can't do anything.
Correct.
Like, who wants to be sitting in your living room, but you can't even watch TV?
Yeah, nobody.
Or you can't, get that Starbucks coffee
Yeah.
or whatever it is that you're doing. That's not what the goal is here. The goal is to give you an upgrade to your life, right? And if it's going to cause more stress, then maybe we need to rework what the plan is.
Exactly.
And something else that you mentioned too was about those costs that are up front.
Yes.
I've seen people think that they're going to get refunds if things don't work out. So you need to be financially prepared to invest in these things. We talk about cars, right? So you buy a car and you think you're just going to drive it off the lot for 10 years and that's it. Isn't there maintenance that goes into that?
Tons of maintenance.
You have to change your tires. And, if you're like me, the lights go off and you're like, oh, windshield wiper fluid. And it's 3 months later. So like, these are things that your behaviors and your patterns, it's going to translate no matter what you're going to. And even though homeownership is a big step, the foundation is still the same. Are you going to do the necessary things to keep this thing? Are you going to do the necessary things to be informed, to maintain it to the best of your ability? And something else that I want us to jump into is like emotional surprises, because a lot of people get emotionally tied to this journey. I know for me as a professional, my job is to not be emotionally tied to it, to help bring you back to, okay, let's recalibrate for the thing that you want. This is what it's going to take for us to get there. But how important is it to acknowledge that feeling, or that there are feelings tied to this?
This is an emotional roller coaster. And like, I have been in the industry and maybe have a similar experience, Dawn, but like when I went to buy a house, I was stressed. I was anxious. I was up at night and I know what to expect. I do this every day. Like, I know what's coming, and still I'm human. Like, I'm not exempt. So it is going to be an emotional roller coaster. And I think you really just have to make space for those feelings. Know that it's normal, process them, validate yourself, get the validation you need from your team, your support, your lender, whoever it is. Like, we're here to help you get through that. And then, like you said, we're going to recalibrate. We're going to go back to, these are our options. These are the things that are in our control. These are the pros and cons of each option. What do you want to do? Right? Like, we're here to help you. I wouldn't say manage your emotions, but make sure that like they're not interfering with your ability to make the right decision in the long run.
Thank you for that. And last but not least, we are going to do what we always do, our signature fill in the blank. So I want you to give us a thing that you wish every first time buyer knew walking into this. The thing that we don't want them finding out the hard way, because unfortunately there's a lot of blogs and reviews out there that talk about what they didn't know. So we're going to prevent that on this channel. So What is one thing that you would say, nobody told me that, fill in the blank, and then give us an answer for that?
I'm going to look at the camera again for this one. You guys listen to me. Nobody told me that there is no perfect time to buy. This is so important. Even just like thinking about your personal friends and family, even thinking about yourself. Do you have that feeling seeing how the market is right now of like, oh, I should have bought years ago. I should have done this then. But at the time, there was probably another reason that you thought it wasn't the perfect time to buy, right? Like, this is just like trying to qualify yourself. Stop assuming that you know that it's the right time. It's the right time when you're ready. And how do you know when you're ready? You call us and you figure that out. And if you're not ready today, guess what? We can help you figure out when you will be ready. And that's really the biggest thing that I think most people don't know. I think people have the other idea. Like they think there is a perfect time. I have to wait for that perfect time. That is absolutely just so untrue. It's not the case.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm going to say Pearl-Fect because
Yes.
nothing is perfect, but it can be Pearl-Fect because pearls are very unique with irritation through hurdles. It develops into something gorgeous and valuable. So it's just like with your homeownership journey. So get with a professional who's going to help you cultivate that pearl. Get with people like myself and Michelle. If you're in the Central Florida area, talk to a professional before you do anything because you could be wasting a lot of time going down the rabbit hole of AI trying to figure out, well, I saw in this TV show that this person bought or sold a house using ChatGPT. That's great for them. However, everyone's situation is unique. Everyone may have different opinions or reasons why they're doing something. So don't ever compare your journey to someone else's journey. Your journey is your journey. And we're here to help you go along on this journey, but it's still yours. So that is it for us today. Michelle, thank you for sharing these wonderful words.
My pleasure.
And reminding us how important it is to talk to a professional.
Yes. That you trust.
That you trust. Thank you. And that's it for us. We are signing off today, guys. Thank you so much. Watch those previous episodes if you're a first-time home buyer and want to hear from homeowners, or continuously watch those other episodes where we're talking to real estate professionals that we trust to let us know what it really is out here. Have a good one, guys. Hi there, I'm Dawn Reese McKinney with Broker by eXp Realty. If you made it to the end of the video, awesome. So happy that you joined me. Make sure you find time to like and subscribe the video and share it with a friend. I look forward to connecting and possibly even helping you relocate to Central Florida. Take care.